Hello, this is day 8 of 30 Days of Stories, and this last story about a car has a bonus announcement at the very end, so you'll have to listen to the end just to find out what that is. You know, car design has come a long way in the last 50 years. When I was a teenager, it was an exceptional event if a car went round the clock. And by round the clock, we meant if the mileometer went back to zero after the car had travelled 100,000 miles. Now, by contrast, our main car at the moment is a 17-year-old Nissan given to us by our friend Clive, and that has done more than twice that amount on its original engine, and there's not a spot of real rust on it. Now, when I was younger, my father had a Vauxhall Viva HC, and even at 10 years old, this was an old rust bucket. It did 25 miles to the gallon, which was terribly expensive, and it was just very inefficient and not particularly comfortable. But the problem was, when we came to try and sell it, nobody wanted to buy it for the same reasons. So my interest was sparked when I saw in the Surrey Advertiser an advert from somebody who was proposing a car swap. Now, he had a Morris Minor Traveller and he wanted a family saloon, so it seemed like the deal made in heaven. So we made arrangements. Now, it was over a 2.5-hour drive to where he lived, so we agreed to meet halfway, which turned out to be outside Wimbledon station. So on the day agreed, I set off in good time, but on the A3 going up to London, my father's car, which had always been reliable even if it was inefficient and ugly, the temperature gauge, I noticed, was higher than it should be. So I stopped and had a look and checked the water levels, and everything seemed to be okay as far as you could see. So we pressed on, but as we proceeded, the gauge went higher and higher, until, with impeccable timing, the car boiled over just as we approached Wimbledon station. And I have a clear memory of driving past Wimbledon station in clouds of steam, and through the clouds of steam I could see what seemed to be a beautiful example of a Morris Minor Traveller parked outside. But we went straight on. Fortunately, I had a friend in Wimbledon, so we knocked them up with a view to cooling the car down a bit, refilling it with water and wiping away the telltale signs. Well, fortunately, half an hour later, back at Wimbledon station, the Morris Minor was still outside. So I stopped, introduced ourselves, and we began immediately inspecting each other's vehicles. And he was very keen to do the swap, to change swap keys, swap the documents and drive off there and then. And I could see why when I started to look at his Morris. The first thing that struck me was that it smelt of cellulose thinners. Now, cellulose thinners was the solvent used in those days for respraying cars or spraying cars. So that car had either been sprayed that morning or the day before, because that smell doesn't hang around for long. So this... on closer inspection of the structure of the car, I found that by putting your fingers underneath the sill of the car and beneath the doors, you could put your fingers through the metal and crunch it through. And the car was a rotten carcass that had just simply been oversprayed for sale. So what seemed like the deal made in heaven was not exactly as it proved to be, and that was one Morris Minor that had to pass me by. Now, here's the bonus announcement. I've got one more excellent story. Well, it's more a fact, really, than a story, which I'm going to post later in the day. So look out for that. It'll be short, punchy, and very exciting. Okay, there you go. See you later.